that's the thing. Like when I started doing personal TikToks in October, and like I absolutely hated it. It was miserable. Like I hated putting my face on camera. I was uncomfortable, and that's why I tell people like my first 30 TikToks were absolute garbage. Um, but but you build the muscle. Like I'm a way better content creator now than I was 3 months ago, because like I it teaches you to get out of your comfort zone. And if you can learn to be comfortable outside of your comfort zone, then you can start being way more successful in whatever role that you're doing, because you're no longer afraid to take risks.
Okay, so basically your marketing journey and how you got started in TikTok with TikTok. You know, the whole TikTok trend, people are wondering should it be for B2B or not? Yeah, so and then I also love to, would I say, document stories of people who are advanced in B2B marketing just for the sake of the newbies or people who are just starting out. So yeah, I would just love to know, yeah, how did you get started in marketing? Or I'd even seen a scratch pad video of you talking about how you started in SDR, um, with an SDR role before you got into marketing, and that was quite interesting. And for newbies or beginners in marketing, there's this overwhelming feeling of what do I do? What do I not do? Yes. So how did you start? How was it for you? So basically,
Yeah. So like you like you said, my start in marketing, we actually didn't call it an SDR back then. This was in 2011, but that's really what I was doing. I was just cold calling people all day. And essentially how it goes is I was the first hire at this company, and I was in this SDR role, basically pre-launch, trying to get people to sign up. It was kind of like a directory style model way back in 2011, before there was technology to scrape people's information. So like I was basically just calling people asking to get their information. And long story short, like it was a terrible 6 months. Like that's how long I did it. And it basically became either I'm gonna quit or I'm gonna figure out another way. And I didn't have any other prospects lined up at the time, so it was I'm gonna figure out another way. And luckily, the company that I was working for, this was kind of like there was a larger manufacturing company that owned this the company that I was working directly for, and it was kind of like the CEO's pet project. So like he kind of let me do like whatever I thought was necessary. So I decided, instead of cold calling all these people all day, I'm gonna create a team up with a subject matter expert and create a YouTube channel with the original idea of educating people, and through that education they would come through to the website and then convert on the website. But what we quickly found was that the education itself was far more, like, people cared about the education far more than what they wanted from the initial like business idea. So we ended up kind of retooling the entire business to focus around the education, and we came up with like an e-commerce store to go around it. We had like it was like an influencer model, like companies paid us to use products and things like that. And yeah, after I did that for about 10 years. We had 700 some thousand subscribers on YouTube. about 250,000 on Facebook, 100,000 on Instagram, and then right at the very end, before I left, we had got started in TikTok, and I started doing that in about 2019, and the the organic reach was just incredible. And I've been lucky enough to been on like the leading edge of all these social platforms when they're at like their peak organic reach, because I started doing I started doing YouTube in 2011, and I was repurposing for all these other channels. So like I was repurposing for Facebook when they had crazy reach in like 2012. I was repurposing for Instagram when they had crazy reach in like 2014, and then later on TikTok, and TikTok was like by far the best that I had ever experienced. I think I was at
I'm asking, did you know it was going to be like a big thing or a trending thing now in B2B, or you just started out like, let me just use TikTok?
so no, it will 100% be a big thing, and we're starting to see that now. Like we're starting to see the early adoption of it. I think the right now it's the people that
Yeah.
um, are already trying, companies that are already trying out like new technologies, and they're already bought into social media and that sort of thing. What what's happening now is people that are doing TikTok. TikTok's kind of the long game, right? As far as B2B goes, like there, it's going to be a slower burn in B2B. As more people come in, there's going to be a bigger audience. But the beauty of TikTok right now is that they make it so incredibly easy to do two things. One, create really good content inside the platform, so you don't have to hire a video editor and do all these other things that you've had to do in the past to create good content. You can do that yourself right inside of TikTok. And number two is they make it incredibly easy to share that content. So like think about any other social media platform in the past. Like they want their content to stay on their platform. Like try sharing a Facebook. Well, they own Instagram now, but like try sharing like try sharing a YouTube video to Facebook. Try sharing, you know what I mean? Like sharing outside of platform, everybody makes it very difficult. And what TikTok done is they've done the opposite approach, which is you can literally hit download and share this video anywhere you want. And because every other platform right now is trying to figure out how to take advantage of the success of TikTok, is they're prioritizing short form vertical video. So those TikTok videos perform incredibly well anywhere else you post them. Even on platforms like, and what I mean by that is like you've got LinkedIn Reels, you've got YouTube Shorts, like everyone's trying to take advantage of this short form vertical video. And even on platforms like LinkedIn that don't have like a native function for that vertical video, it just appears in the normal feed. What happens on LinkedIn is people get what I call text post fatigue, which is like, I think most people can relate to this. It's like text post, poll, ad, text post, like PDF, like it's a very dry platform. And when you come across video, and specifically vertical video, and even more specifically vertical video that has a TikTok watermark on it, people immediately stop because one, they think if it's vertical, it's probably a TikTok. If it's got a watermark, it's definitely a TikTok. And people just associate TikTok with entertainment. And when you've just went through all these like boring text posts, once you hit an entertainment piece of content, it's sort of like a break from the rest, and people want that break, so they stop on it. And if it doesn't have the watermark, at the very least, people associate vertical video with authenticity. Like, I think what I've noticed is for most people, vertical video will even perform better than like square video, because what people have become accustomed to with square video is that it's a podcast, and there are maybe 1% of podcasters that create really good content.
Yeah,
Most of it's just boring video, right?
of course.
And what happens with the vertical is people have the opposite association with it right now. People associate square video with like boring podcast content, unless there's like a very distinct brand behind it that like that you love. With vertical video, it's like I may not even know who this person is, but I see a vertical video and I'm going to stop because one, I think it's going to be funny. Two, at the very least, like I stopped. It's your job to keep me engaged at that point, but like I stopped, which is half the battle. So
Okay, and that's yeah,
that was the long answer to the short question as is B2B going to get on TikTok? The reason now is yes, because it helps perform so much better in the platforms that they're already using.
cool. So you said something that actually caught my interest. You got on this platform, say YouTube in 2011, TikTok 2019, and just when I'd say okay, for TikTok now, as a then B2B, promoting B2B content on TikTok wasn't really a thing. I think it was last year, then early this year, I got to see most brands trying to adopt TikTok into their one of their channels, to promote B2B. So for me, I'm asking, is it just creating brand awareness now, or is there a way to tie conversions to TikTok videos?
My thought on that is any social content, your goal is to create awareness or affinity. I think when you start creating social content with the goal of having somebody convert on something, you start creating ineffective social content, because in order to try to get somebody to convert now, you're creating more salesy content. Whereas with the content that I create and the content that just about I would challenge anybody to tell me one of their favorite content creators out there that is pushing a CTA in any of their content. The people that everybody love on social media are the ones that aren't pushing a specific conversion. The goal of your content should be to educate people, build that awareness over time, and then once they're ready, or like once they feel they have the need for whatever it is that you do, instead of going to G2 or Google or wherever, they know you, and you're the person they go to. You don't become one that is in a list of, I need to research these people or companies. You become the one that they already know of, they already trust, and they just go to you. So that's how I think people should be attacking social media in the first place. When you're whether it's TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, whatever, if goal is a conversion now, my opinion is that you're going to be very ineffective in doing it.
Sure. Okay, and I really like what you're doing with your team members at Refine Labs. I saw one of the videos and then everybody was involved. I'm like, okay, this is becoming more like a Refine Labs thing and no longer a Todd thing. And it's actually nice to see. Well done there. And yeah, before I go any further, congratulations on the promotion. I was like, yay!
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so before I go on the next question now, just something fun. How do you because sometimes I feel that when we start doing things that we love, sometimes they become work. So I don't know, is TikTok still like a fun thing that you do, or it's now work? It now feels like work. That's on one end, and then on the other end, how do you unwind from work, movies or games? Yeah.
So is TikTok work? Yes and no. The I think the way that you the way that it becomes no longer fun is when you get burnt out on it, and I think you get burnt out on it when you don't have a framework in place to make it sustainable. So what I mean by that is, like, I think most people that listen to like B2B podcasts, or I don't know exactly like if you're gonna put this into a podcast or if this is just me and you chatting, but I think most of the people in the B2B world will agree that, at least the ones trying to be consistent on like a LinkedIn per se, if you wake up in the morning and it's like, shit, what am I gonna post today? I want to post something every day or 3 times a week or whatever it is. You wake up, it's like, I know I want to post something, but I don't know what to say. It's the same thing on TikTok, because TikTok consistency is key, just like most platforms. But what I do, and this was a huge unlock for me, it has several advantages, but in this case, like, if you follow my content, if you've followed it for a while, like, I started out by doing a series called The Remote Office, which was me just kind of like poking fun of like remote office culture, in like sales and marketing departments. From there, I did If B2B Marketing Did, which is like where I would take anything in like pop culture or like something I would see every day and make it about B2B. So like, I did If B2B Did press conferences, I did If B2B Did documentaries, I did the 5 o'clock news, I did like I've done several of these.
And then if you're a movie, something like that. Yeah.
And then my third one is if movies were about B2B, where I cut out one side of the movie and put myself in there and make the conversation about B2B sales or marketing. So like, those are the 3 series that I do. And the reason why that makes it so much easier is I can wake up on Monday and I can say, instead of saying like, shit, what am I going to post today? And then waking up on Tuesday and say, shit, what am I going to post today? And then Wednesday and like that vicious cycle. I can wake up on Monday and say, okay, I'm going to poke fun at sales pitch slapping in my DMs this week. And I can put that messaging into 3 different frameworks. So I can put it into the remote office, I can put it into If B2B Did, and I can put it into If Movies Were About B2B. And I just repeated the message. It's important, like if you're trying to educate somebody, you want to repeat your messaging anyway. But I repeated that message in 3 different ways that were all entertaining in their own right, and they will all perform, each one will perform just as well as the one before it, because the messaging was the same, but the delivery was so different.
Yeah.
So to avoid burnout, I think that's one of the key unlocks, is to make it as easy as possible to come up with the idea. Because at least for me, coming up with the idea is the hardest part. It's not the execution of the idea. So
Does it really have to be fixed?
at this point,
No, go on. At this point, it's
go ahead.
what?
I was gonna say, at this point, I have not hit that burnout phase yet. I've gone like a week without posting because I'm out of town or doing whatever, and like that's on my that's my personal account, so like not a huge deal. Like if you're doing a company account or something like that, like you need to be very consistent. But yeah, I've yet to hit that burnout phase yet.
That's funny because it's fun till it becomes, well, work, when you have to do it intentionally because, well, yeah, we're expecting, just like you said, it's creating brand awareness, trying to grow an affinity with your audience, because when it becomes work or there's this goal of this must convert, it becomes actually tiring. But yeah, thank God you've not reached the burnout yet, and I hope you don't, because I'm enjoying the videos that you put out. Yeah, then the next is catching of trends early enough, because I think that's one of the things that have helped you stand out, to be able to catch this trend early enough. So how would you advise maybe
Um,
someone, an individual, a company to
I
spot
I
trends?
actually I actually don't really do trends anymore. So what I used to do was, like I said, I had, and this is with my personal stuff. I had my three pillars, series, whatever you want to call them, and then in between those, I would do trends or like talking head, like education or whatever. Um, but honestly, like my goal with my personal TikTok right now isn't even to really create a massive following on my own TikTok. My goal with my personal TikTok is to demonstrate to the B2B world that TikTok content can be used on other channels to make them perform better, so people start adopting TikTok faster. That's my main goal right now. That being said, like you can look at accounts like Will Aiken or Sales Feed who do who who do trends and education in the same account extremely well. He's been able to capitalize on that. But the goal of my personal account and then the Refine Labs account isn't necessarily to just build a huge following. So my goals are a little different than that. But if trend like if that's something that you want to do, um, I'm probably not the expert in trends because it's not something that I do often. I would rather. So for me, the way I describe it to people is when I'm scrolling through the platform, I see I see a mixture of like generic content that I don't really care about, trends, and then like really good content, like original content that like makes me want to go and watch everything else that person creates. As I'm scrolling through the For You page, unless it's somebody in B2B, that like I can really resonate with like the thing that they're doing. Um, I don't. There's never been a trend that I saw that made me go to the person's account and was like, "This is great stuff." I think trends are a good way to amplify your account because the algorithm likes trends. So like, I think if you did, you know, two trends a week and three pieces of original content a week or something like that. I don't know exactly what the right mix would be. That could be more effective, but like my goal for trends would be to get my face in front of people more, so when they saw my original content, they would then know who I was and would stop and watch it rather than I think the original content is where you really get the bang for your buck.
Okay, so maybe you got, well, good that you explained that, but maybe you got the question wrong, because what I mean is being able to spot um, channels like early enough. So, for example, when you said I was lucky enough to get on YouTube when it was just starting, let's say 2011, yeah,
Gotcha.
and then TikTok, yeah. So that's really what I mean. How do we spot things that may turn out to be, let me use the word gold, but how do you spot, yeah, things early on and be, would I say, the starting pioneers or, yeah, the leaders in this thing like you are? Because so many people just join the trend when it's already old enough. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tough one to verbalize. I think for me, it's always been so like my originally my I started in YouTube, and what happens when you pick a channel and you go hard on that channel. When you build an audience there, the audience will tell you where everybody's going, and you'll learn that early enough that like so um, for me, way back in the day, like it was YouTube and I was already on Facebook. That was like at the time the only social media channel. Like there was other things like Twitter, but once you start doing it, like you get a feel like, is my audience here or are they not? And like, does my messaging resonate here? If it doesn't, you know, you move on. But once more and more channels started coming out, what would happen was like, so originally I was on YouTube and Facebook, and then I would see like the messaging in Facebook, like, hey, you should hop over on Instagram, like the community is migrating to Instagram. So it's like, okay, I'll listen. You listen to feedback, you try it out. If it works, great. If not, you know, you did it and you learned something. So I think most people's problem is they just jump on everything really quick without any actual, like, they don't stop to think like, will my message actually resonate on this platform? And does the platform itself line up with like my content goals? So like, for instance, like the YouTube stuff that I was creating, it was very visual based. So like, you know, at the time we were teaching people how to weld. So like, podcasting probably didn't make that much sense for me. Whereas like something like an Instagram, like I could post short videos, TikTok short videos, like it's a very visual platform. Like that worked for me. But yeah, I think most people's mistake isn't that they fail to see the platforms. It's that they hop on it. I'm explaining this really bad.
Yeah, there's no dedication. Yeah.
let me
Like
give me a.
you just have to put in some work to get
But it's not just putting in the work. Once the unlock is like, people want the quick win. The quick win is kind of like a myth. Like, you can have quick wins that don't lead to long-term success, but like people like, so what ends up happening is, like, for instance, I was on YouTube and I was dedicated to that channel. I was on Facebook, I was dedicated to that channel, and like, you start to see everybody talking about other channels, and like, when the industry, when your audience tells you to do something, listen to your audience. You don't need to be like the first person on the platform. Like, as far as TikTok goes, like there was people on it before me. Like, I wasn't the first one there. But once I realized that my audience was there, and this was across a couple different industries, once people were telling me like, hey, people are moving over here, and then I went and I checked it out, and I saw the content, and I saw that the content there was nowhere near as good as the content we were producing on other channels. I knew that my content would crush on that channel, and that's what ended up happening. We got, 40-some thousand followers off less than 15 posts, because like, we were already, like, we've been creating content for 8 years at this point. Like we were dialed in, and TikTok comes along, and we were just able to crush it because I already knew what people responded to because I was doing it for 8 years prior to that. So I think you have to just listen to the audience, and if your audience isn't telling you, then my advice is that you're not winning on the platform that you're trying to build your audience. Because when you're winning on whatever channel you're on, whether it be LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, whatever, your audience is talking to you. If you're putting out a bunch of content and it gets a lot of views, or even if it doesn't get a lot of views, but nobody's actually like engaging with you, talking with you, like you're not winning there. So yeah, like that's the key, is like don't try to jump around before you've really locked in one. And you've locked in one when your audience is giving you feedback.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much. We've said a lot. I don't want to strain further, but just one more thing. Still to beginner content marketers, what would be your advice for anyone just starting out in marketing?
Anybody starting out in marketing, my advice would be to start creating a personal brand. And I know that's a little like everybody says that now, but I would start doing it on a, to me, I think the best way to do it is with video. So if I was just starting out in marketing today, I would create a TikTok account and I would create a LinkedIn account. And I would make my goal to minimum 3 times a week, but set your stretch at every day. Post a video and then recreate that as a text post plus video on LinkedIn, and build that muscle of content creation. Because it's interesting, like when I started creating content in 2011, it was like the job given to the intern, to whereas now, and I think this was accelerated by the pandemic, like content creator, I think you're going to see that as a role. Like that's going to be an in-house role similar to like SDR is. I think a new entry-level role is going to be like content creator. And to tell you the truth, it not even entry level. Like it will continue as you rise through the organization. The expertise of your content will obviously get higher, but yeah, start creating content early and often, build that personal brand.
That's some good one. When you said create a personal brand, I was like, okay, yeah. And then the next thing was like, start making videos. I'm like, not everybody loves videos or having their face out there. Some of
See,
us people are quite shy.
But that's
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like when I started doing personal TikToks in October, and like I absolutely hated it. It was miserable. Like I hated putting my face on camera. I was uncomfortable, and that's why I tell people, like, my first 30 TikToks were absolute garbage. But you build the muscle. Like I'm a way better content creator now than I was 3 months ago, because like it teaches you to get out of your comfort zone. And if you can learn to be comfortable outside of your comfort zone, then you can start being way more successful in whatever role that you're doing, because you're no longer afraid to take risks.
Cool. Okay,
So it's not just about make videos. Like it'll make you better at everything.
Oh, yeah. So just reiterating what I had gone through some interviews that you had still talking about TikTok, and then you're talking about the fact that it doesn't have to be entertaining, but you could just repurpose your content on LinkedIn, yeah, on your TikTok accounts. If this helps anybody that's going to listen to this. Yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, so one last thing before I go. If we had just 2 mediums in the world, which would you travel in? Movies or books?
I'm definitely more on the movie side myself. I think that's no surprise as a video connoisseur.
Yeah. As I was going to say, being a visual person, you'd most likely, yeah, do
Yeah.
movies. Yeah. So thank you very much, Todd. It is actually nice listening to you and also educating. And this is the first time I'm hearing someone saying, "Oh, start a personal brand," and then it's especially when it comes to marketing, and then it's not have a blog. Yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, start a blog, do a Medium post, and then you just want to try to video. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
nice
it's
to get some boldness to do that. The whole video thing, really.
yeah, no, I tell people the beauty of TikTok is like it can be very anonymous. Like you can start doing TikTok and if you don't want like friends and family to see it, you just don't tell them. They're not going to see it, you know? Or you can even do it and make your videos private just till you get in the like feeling comfortable doing it, and then at that point you can go back and make them better. But being able to get on video and talk comfortably and relay your message and not being afraid to look like an idiot or be afraid of failure, it transcends into things that aren't just about video. So and video is a really good entry point into doing that, because most people are not comfortable on video when they first start. So
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much once again. It's it's nice doing this with you, and yeah, I hope that we do keep in touch.
yeah, my pleasure.
Yep. Also hoping that refined labs don't make us jealous, because you've been trying to make us jealous, yeah? With the, knowing that with the whole work culture thing, the environment, being allowed to do what you love to do. I hope you guys make us a little less jealous.
We're trying to inspire people to be better. How's that?
And to have, well, we can only hope to work in good work environments. You don't know till you get in. That's why they tell people really read up about this thing or this place you would want to work in before you get in there. But yeah, well done to you and Refine Labs.
Yeah, thank you.